Gather close now, my friend, and allow me to take you far from the bustling cities, deep into the quiet wilderness, where the hills cradle forgotten towns and nature itself seems to hum with the rhythm of something ancient, something lost in time. The story I have to share with you is one of struggle, resilience, and redemption. It's a story of a man, a town, and a lesson that would echo to the ages, a lesson that we, too, might find if we listen closely enough. Pine Hollow, nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, wasn't the kind of place you would find on a postcard. No, it was a town weathered by time, its people as rugged as the land itself. The mountain air was always thick with a hint of smoke, and the land, though beautiful, was unforgiving. Once a bustling mining town, it had been slowly drained of life when the coal ran out, leaving behind a fading community clinging to what little it had left. The people of Pine Hollow were proud folk, tough as nails and born from the land. But pride could only carry them so far. In a place like this, dreams could crumble just as easily as the mountains themselves. And at the heart of Pine Hollow was Ethan Williams, a man as steady as the ground beneath his boots, but whose life had become a battle he wasn't sure he could win. Ethan's family was all he had left. His wife, Mary, was a pillar of strength, holding their small home together with the patience of someone who had weathered every storm life had thrown her way. His children, Anna and Eli, were his pride and joy, though their laughter could not fill the hollowness in his heart. He had always been a miner, just like his father before him, but the work had grown harder, the tunnels deeper, and the promises of riches had long since evaporated into dust. Each morning, as the sun barely kissed the horizon, Aiken would rise from his creaky bed. His boots, worn from years of hard labor, would hit the cold floor with a heavy thud. He would glance at the clock, always due early, and then at his family still sleeping soundly in their beds. The weight of his responsibilities pressed on him like the very earth he worked beneath. Each day felt like the same, a relentless repetition of sweat and toil, with no end in sight. But on this particular morning, there was something different. The chill in the air seemed colder than usual, and the silence in his cabin felt heavier, as though the land itself was holding its breath. Ethan felt a stirring deep within him, a pull towards something he couldn't explain. It was as though something had awakened inside of him, something he had long since buried beneath the layers of fatigue and worry. He was tired. He was tired of struggling, of fighting a battle that never seemed to end. As he stepped outside, the morning fog rolled in, thick and damp, enveloping the town in a strange stillness. He walked to his usual spot, the edge of the woods where the path to the mine began. But today, his footsteps felt different. His heart, too, was restless, as if it were searching for something he couldn't name. It was then that he saw a figure standing by the old oak tree, the one that marked the boundary of the town. It was Father Thomas Avery, the priest who had only recently come to Pine Hollow. Father Avery was a man of few words, but there was something about him that commanded attention. His eyes, though old, held a deep understanding, a quiet wisdom that made people want to listen. Ethan had never spoken much to the priest, but today, as their eyes met, it felt as though something unspoken passed between them. "Ethan," Father Avery said, his voice calm but urgent, "there's something I must share with you." Ethan didn't know what to make of it, but there was no denying the weight in the priest's tone. He nodded, gesturing for Father Avery to continue. "You've been carrying a burden," Father Avery said softly, his eyes scanning the horizon as if seeing something far beyond the mountains themselves. "But you are not meant to carry it alone." Ethan's mind raced. How could the priest possibly know the weight he carried, the weight of his failures, his fears, his endless struggle to make ends meet? He wanted to brush it off, to dismiss the words as nothing more than comforting nonsense, but there was something in the air, something in Father Avery's voice that made him stop. "I'm not sure what you mean," Achan said, though his voice betrayed the hesitation in his heart, "I have my family, my work. What else is there?" Father Avery's gaze grew even more intense, as if he was looking straight into Achan's soul. "There's more. You've forgotten that the land can teach us, if we are willing to listen. I know a place, deep in the heart of these mountains, near McKinley Ridge. It's a place where the earth will show you what you need to see. But you must go alone. You must find it for yourself." Achan was skeptical. The rugged wilderness around Pine Hollow was no place for the faint-hearted, and he had no reason to believe that this mysterious place Father Avery spoke of could offer him anything he didn't already know. But something in the priest's words stirred him, a curiosity that he couldn't shake. And so, with little more than a wordless nod, Achan set off the next morning, leaving behind his family and the familiarity of Pine Hollow. He wasn't sure why he was doing it, but something inside of him felt compelled to follow the priest's advice. The path to McKinley Ridge was treacherous, winding through thick forests and across rocky streams. The mountains seemed to grow more imposing with each step, their jagged peaks rising like ancient guardians. As the sun began to set on the second day, Achan came upon a small clearing, bathed in the soft golden light of dusk. In the center of the clearing, an old stone temple stood, weathered by time and untouched by human hands for who knew how long. The walls were covered in ivy, and the pillars, though cracked, seemed to pulse with a quiet energy. The place felt sacred, ancient, as if the earth itself had claimed it as its own. Achan stepped closer, his boots crunching softly on the stone path. He could feel the energy in the air, the sense that something was waiting for him. As he moved deeper into the temple, he saw it, a small group of insects, ants, to be exact, tirelessly working to build their homes within the cracks of the stone. The sight was almost comical. How could such tiny creatures hope to build something lasting in a place so ancient? But as Achan watched, something incredible happened. A gust of wind, sudden and fierce, swept through the temple, destroying the ants' homes in an instant. Achan watched, his heart sinking. He had seen it happen so many times before in his own life. The destruction of hard work, the feeling that everything he had built had been in vain. But then, something remarkable occurred. The ants didn't retreat in despair. No, they immediately began rebuilding. The destruction didn't stop them. In fact, it seemed to fuel them, as if they were driven by an instinct deeper than fear, deeper than failure. Achan stayed in that temple for days, watching as the ants rebuilt again and again. It became clear to him the lesson that had been there all along. It wasn't the setback that mattered. It was the resilience to rise after the fall, the determination to keep going, even when it seemed impossible. On the seventh day, Father Avery appeared beside him, as if summoned by the very earth itself. "You've seen it, haven't you?" the priest asked. Achan nodded, his heart full of understanding. "I've seen that no matter how many times life knocks us down, we have the power to rise again." Father Avery smiled, his eyes glistening with pride. "Exactly. The land teaches us. The journey is never about avoiding failure, Achan. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and finding the strength to rebuild. You are stronger than you think." Achan's heart swelled with a newfound strength. He was no longer burdened by the fear of failure. He knew now that the path forward would be difficult, but it would be his path to walk, and every setback was just an opportunity to rise stronger than before. And so, Achan returned to Pine Hollow, not as a man who had left, but as someone reborn. He had found within himself the strength to rebuild not just his life, but his purpose. And the people of Pine Hollow, they saw him not as a broken man, but as a symbol of resilience, a man who, no matter how many times he fell, always found the strength to rise again. Remember, my friend, that life will always throw challenges your way. There will be times when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, when the ground beneath you seems to crumble. But like the ants in the temple, you do have the power to rebuild, to rise, and to keep moving forward. And in that, you will find your true strength.